Welcome to the UChem tutorial on using the periodic table. This is the first of two videos on the periodic table. This video will focus on individual entries on the periodic table and the information that can be gained from them. The next one will look at the structure of the periodic table as a whole. So let's begin looking at two entries on the table, tantalum and thallium. So what I'm going to do is excerpt those. So let's examine tantalum first. And what we'll first look at is Tantalum Symbol. And the symbol for tantalum is Ta. This is its atomic symbol. This is the symbol that chemists use to represent tantalum when we're writing formulas for chemical compounds. It would be very cumbersome if we were to write out all the full names of the elements when we're working with compounds. All right, so what we do is we use these symbols as abbreviations. Now, the next thing to look at here is very important. This number, the atomic number, is another way of representing an element. And the reason why this is a representation of the element is the atomic number is the number of protons in the nucleus of an element, and that is its signature. Every single element on the periodic table is distinguished by its number of protons. One of the most important pieces of information you can gain about an element is its atomic number, because that really distinguishes or gives you the basic structure of that element. So the last number that you see here in the box for tantalum is 180.95. And that number is the average or relative atomic mass. That number represents a weighted average of all the different forms of that element. Now, I said that the atomic number gave the number of protons in the nucleus, and there are also neutrons in the nucleus of an element. And the number of protons for an element always stays the same. The number of neutrons can vary. We call isotopes forms of an element that have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons in the nucleus. When we take the average or relative atomic mass, what we do is we look at a natural sample of the element. It will have a varying number of isotopes with a different abundance of each isotope. We use that in that average to give us a weighted average. So we know in that average that there are more of one kind of form and a little less of another form. And so in order to identify the most common form of an element, what we will do is round that average atomic mass. In this case, for tantalum, we would round to 181. That would tell me the most common form of tantalum. If I wanted to know the mass of a natural sample of tantalum, it would have all of those isotopes within it. So I would use the 180.95 to represent the mass of that sample, because that sample, a natural sample, would have that whole complement of all the isotopes within the sample. So let's take a look at thallium just for some practice. Thallium has the atomic symbol TL. Okay, its atomic number, the number of protons, is 81. And if I were to look at its average relative atomic mass, that average atomic mass would be 204.38. And if I wanted to know what the most common form of thallium is, that would be 204 atomic mass unit. All right, so using the periodic table, what I can do is I can extract and get quite a lot of information about a particular element from its symbol on the periodic table. So just a lot of information in a tiny little box.